Hmm. Do, do, do. Right. Super messy kitchen. So much to do. So much to do. Did I put that tiny pot down here? No. I guess this is the tiny pot. So, mostly narrating to nobody. Hello. Hey, Seth. I am going to be cooking today, as I have before, actually. So, I'm going to upgrade some pretty basic ramen. Um, this can be done with pretty much any, but I'm going to be using Rapoki Korean rice cake ramen, which comes with these cool little rice cakes. Onion flake, the noodles, and the powder. Okay. Did it really only make 3 of these per package? Interesting. All right. So the story of today is that I'm tired. No, but for real, the story of today is that I forgot what I was actually going to come home and cook. Some of the materials at my office. So instead, I'm going to be upgrading a basic ramen. And the first thing I'm going to do is upgrade the eggs. I'm going to salt this water. There's the salt the crap out of this water. And while it's still cold, I'm going to insert 2 eggs because I'm going to soft boil these. I think I need just a little bit more water than this. How you doing, Seth? just a touch more water. Cover that, and then let this slowly come up to temp. I'm going to add a little water to this pot, but mostly I'm going to be using first basic upgrade, Sweet Babies, which is beef stock. I'm actually going to make a beef ramen, and yes, I'm still including soft-boiled eggs. I just actually made this beef stock myself. I roasted some oxtail. So what I'm going to do here is just add some of this goodness to this. And then let that come up to a boil. Huh. Yeah, I'd say I used about a cup. So I'm going to do just a little bit more because I'm going to let this cook down just a little bit. Beef stock is not that complicated to make, but it can be a little bit time consuming. You don't have to make it yourself. I did, because I'm extra. Yeah, double check real quick. Take these and wash them because you need to. I'm not going to use my teeth because I have scissors. But I didn't even need the scissors because it came with a little whiteboard thing. So go me. All right. Smells good. All right, I'm gonna have to check the stream at this point. So I'm gonna mute myself real quick. Test. Yeah, I can totally hear it. And so you can totally hear this too. Great. All right. That's coming up to a boil. So that means it's time to reduce the heat on this baby. So once this is boiling, I'm just gonna dump these right in. And I'm gonna stir in this sauce. This powder base is typically gochugaru, a few other things. Should be plenty thick on its own. Where did my phone go? There it is. Give this a stir. And I'm going to set this alarm timer for 3 minutes to check. All right, while that's getting, I'm going to move this over. Thank you, Claire. All right, so the eggs are sitting in the pot. Around the time that I add the noodles, they will come up to temperature. For me to shock in an ice bath. If you're soft boiling eggs like I am, then what you're trying to do is get the whites set and cooked, but leaving the yolk just a little bit runny. I'm over here grabbing my knife because I'm making the accoutrement, which is no sweet babies. No sweet babies. No sweet babies. Carrot, green onion, cabbage. It's pretty easy actually to prepare these because you're not really doing much with them. They're gonna mostly go onto this ramen raw, or raw in a sense, anyways. Probably be cooked a little bit. So there's the green cabbage. A little bit of carrot. Just gonna stir this again. The natural thickeners, both in the broth and in the rice cakes and in the sauce, are going to cause that to gelatinize really well. So this particular ramen, no sweet babies. You can hear them. Love it. There we go. So this particular ramen is going to thicken up really well. So you don't actually need to do what I do, which is the first time that I tried to cook this, which is let it cook down a little extra. There's just going to be so much in the way of stabilizers that you don't need to do very much. I'm adding the packet of chopped spring onion, And I'm going to add the ramen noodles. So the package says to use water. The reason that I use broth is because the broth will impart a lot of beef flavor to everything it cooks in. And I realize that you're over here. So I'm going to move this back over here on camera. Alright, so now that this is starting to simmer and the noodles are going to come apart, I am going to deconstruct this meat. Like I said, this is oxtail. And because it was sitting in that broth mixture for so long, it just falls right off the bones. Super sinewy, but super tender. I really don't even need anything to just clean these bones right off. Nice pink color. And then I'm going to just drop these bits of meat right into the ramen. Trying not to drop any bones in there because you can't eat the bones. Even these little caps fall right off. All right. So I've moved the heat on this to low. Hey, Berna. Move the heat on this to low because it's pretty much just as hot as we need it to go. But I'm going to move it back up because I'm introducing a lot of things that are relatively cold. Or were cold. So it'll take a little bit for this to come back up to temp. It's already looking pretty good. That's the idea with cooking. Okay, so I'm gonna put the lid on this so that too much moisture doesn't escape. These guys are the eggs that I made earlier. I'm gonna move these here. Grab this bowl of water that I had tossed in the fridge earlier. Pull this lid off. Steam. And I'm just gonna gently drop these into the ice water. That should also make them easier to peel. All right, so let's do this quick. Really easy. This, all I'm really trying to do with the vegetables, because I'm really not transforming them at all, just make them smaller and more bite manageable. Same with the carrots. These were already shredded, um, but I want them very easy to go into a spoonful of broth. Green onion's a little bit different, obviously, because this is whole. So I'm just gonna real simple. Boom. Right, 3 different kinds of veggies. So I'm gonna turn the heat on this all the way off. Yeah, this is looking nice and thick and syrupy now. Take these eggs real quick. Just break the shells off them. So I can tell you from holding this that it's firmer than the first time that I did this, but I'm definitely worried that the yolks have also set a little bit, which I didn't want. But soft boiling eggs is hard. It's not super hard, but it's not easy. You pretty much just have to watch the clock. And I was not. I went with my gut. And you might say, the cartoons say that going with your gut is good. And they probably do. I don't know. I don't really remember what they said in Ratatouille. I just remember watching it. But the point is this, you really need to watch the clock. There are plenty of ways that cooking overlaps with art and science, art and aesthetic and balance, and open interpretation and creativity. But science in terms of you apply heat, temperature, pressure, time. Those are constants. There's not going to be a case where you apply the same ingredients in the same time frame, something totally different happens. It's usually in that ballpark, if not exactly the same. So if something comes out different, you got to check time and all those constraints to make sure that everything is in fact the same. I think this one actually will probably be soft boiled because the whites are coming apart just like the first time that I did this, but not nearly as badly. So I'm pretty sure the yolk will be together or still be loose for this one at the very least, which is good. That's what I was aiming for. The outside's ugly as sin. but that's okay. I'd like to say because that we're not eating that part, or I'm not being judged on that part, but the reality is both of those things are untrue. All right, moment of truth. Yep. Fuck. Partially set. Fuck. All right. Learn better than me. But that's okay. It's learning. Okay. So the ramen's coming off the stove, and I'm going to spoon just as much of the noodles, beef, and rice cakes as I can onto this. Because that, as the kids would say, is money. The kids still say that, right? I like to think the kids still say that. I hope the kids still say that. All right. Put this off. It's off. That's a nice and crowded plate. Put this here. Put these here. All right. Quick and dirty 30-minute stream. And I'm going to cap it by taking a picture. Because of course I am. Hello, Yeehaw TV. We're going to have to discuss something. Oh no. Yes, sweet babies. Yes, sweet babies. All right. Quick guest appearance by the guinea pigs because. Oh, now you're camera shy, huh? Here you go. Yep. All right. Back to what I was doing. This is looking nice, thick, and syrupy now. Were the first words that came into the stream to see. Yes, because it's accurate. I made Korean style rice cake ramen. Yes, nice sacrilegious Japanese beer with this Korean style ramen. bit of beef, oxtail. Mm. Yep, that's good. All right. I'm gonna try and stream these more. Actually, I'm gonna try, and I'm pretty sure that's how mukbang is spelled. I'm gonna try and stream again tomorrow. Due to some shenanigans at the end of my work, I missed bringing home the materials that I needed to make what I actually wanted to make, which was a spinach and mushroom risotto. So I'll be back here tomorrow for these equally quick streams. But now I have to eat this. And I say have to, like this isn't my dinner. And like I'm being forced to. But I can hang out a little bit here. Since there's so many of you, my goodness. Tie this apron back on because I'm wearing a white shirt, one of my work shirts, and I definitely do not want to get it all dirty. So hello today. I'm gonna just cut the pretense and eat one of these eggs because I really want to. I got the picture, so it's all pretty. So now I'm just gonna dump the rest of these veggies in there because, again, I really want to. Does it sound better than the first time? Because the first time that I test streamed this, um, I was barely audible, and it turns out the Chromebook's internal microphone was the default for whatever reason, despite the fact that that microphone sucks. And it had the audacity to tell me that it was the best available microphone. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I did a test stream to stream a fried rice recipe method like a week and a half ago. And when I listened back, it was like barely picking up my instructions, which was great because it's not like I was showing somebody who was incompetent how to cook. But then it also was picking up all the clanks of all the pots and pans for whatever reason. I don't know what the right position to put the camera for this is. I want to lean down here, but I also don't want people to not see the food that I made because I'm flexing. Yeah. Uh, it's not that fancy actually. It's not fancy Um, Noodles are materials, that's for sure. What I found is that the mostly the addition of fresh stuff makes it go from sad single apartment area to fancier. Um, but yeah, to recap, eggs with ramen always make instant ramen better. Fresh vegetable, and then for the flavor component, you really just want to not use water and use stock if you can. Beef stock in this case, because I use beef. If all else fails, you have a future as a cook. Um, and I have a future as a house husband, maybe. I don't know if I would pay money for this in a restaurant. Well, I wouldn't because I made it. So, is that a thing? Is so I know that mukbang streams where people eat a bunch of food is, but is there a market for making a bunch of food and then eating it on camera? I feel like that'd be a long stream. Most streams go for that long form content. Mm, dinner is a wild place. Good ramen is rarer in Brazil than in the US. Yeah, one of these days, probably for one of these streams actually, because I'm going to transition into half doing cooking streams, half doing shitty games. Um, I'm going to break out this pasta roller that I have. Back here, actually. I will use this pasta roller again because it was expensive. And make fresh pasta. Oh, some lettuce. Sweet babies. It's a ghost moving. Oh, yeah. What the heck? I do not have a fancy setup, so this is all being streamed 100% on my Chromebook. So I'm just bringing the Chromebook around, which I find pretty funny. Yeah. Already got a haunted apartment. I'm trying to think of a joke about ghosts of ghosts of streams that never happened. There it is. Nailed it. First try. Do I own a cat? No. I'm super allergic to cats. I thought I told that story. I can tell that story while I'm eating. I found out as a child that I was allergic to cats, in the worst way. So my one friend as a kid, his name was Michael. There was actually two Michaels. Um, one of the Michaels' birthdays, for his birthday party, we had a sleepover at his house, and his mom was like permanently disabled, so she wasn't able to like actually watch over all of us. And I don't think that my mom knew that. Um, because she freaked out later when this happened. And went to his house, spent the night, played RuneScape, typical shit that kids in the 90s did, apparently. Actually, that would be early 2000s. Anyways, we all went to bed really early in the morning, so like 1, 2 a.m. And I go to sleep in his living room. And when I wake up, I think it is still dark outside. And then I'm like going to touch my face and I'm realizing I can't open my eyes. And I start to freak out because then I realize my throat is really like swollen. And I start to like roll around. And then I feel something fuzzy next to my head. And as it turns out, um, when I fell asleep, my friend's cat came over and decided to like nuzzle up against me. And then it turns out I'm allergic to cats, like really bad. So then my throat started to close up and my eyes swelled shut. And I wasn't able to really make noise, so I just kind of rolled around for a little bit. I don't know how long. It felt like forever as a child, but it probably was only like a minute. And then the other kids woke up and they were like, "Oh my God, we need to do something." And so I don't know how this happened. But as a kid, my memory was that my friend's older sister was like moonlighting as like a nurse or a vet or something like that because she had access to an EpiPen, but she had never been given the training for the EpiPen. So she goes to apply the EpiPen, and if you know anything about an EpiPen, it has to be applied to a large muscle group, and they typically tell you to do it in the leg. Hello, I'm good. I've just finished cooking like 15 minutes ago, and now I'm slowly eating while I tell a story about how I nearly asphyxiated. Um, so yeah, you're supposed to apply an EpiPen to a large muscle group, usually the leg, but you'd only ever seen Pulp Fiction. And in Pulp Fiction, when the person has an EpiPen applied to them, they get it applied to the chest. But that's because that person is dying of snorting heroin, and they're trying to restart the heart. So long story short, um, she applied the EpiPen to my chest, and what I later understood was that she was very lucky. Batman did the same thing in Justice League Dark, right in the chest. Uh, well, I guess that's another way that Batman and I have overlap. Um, fuck, I'm not very sharp right now because I was trying to think of a first one. Yeah, it's hard to justify that action. Anyways, it felt like the rest of my body was on fire, and it probably that's like what the sensory was, but it did work. Um, but apparently, if she had like hit any of the bone that would prevent it from getting to a major muscle group, I would have died because it wouldn't have applied. And if she had hit an organ, I would have died because the organ would seize up. So, very lucky that it was applied that way or incorrectly that way. Long story short, I'm allergic to cats. So, no, I don't have a cat. Yeah. I have a couple more viewers by sitting here telling a story about how I got EpiPenned in the chest. Are you allergic to cats too? I'm sorry. There's something about the cats. I don't know if I give off like a fear pheromone or if they're just like, this is a man who hasn't been near a cat in some time. He needs to fix that. Because they always gravitate towards me. They know, and I tell them, I'm like, no, go away. And they don't. My friends say it's because they want to give me love, but, well, the friends who love cats. Growing up, my aunt had this cat that they called Princess. That was an evil, evil cat. Like, seriously, it would just attack people for no reason. Um, Moral theorists might say that it's foolish to try and apply um, human morality to animals. Um, Having said that, I'm pretty sure animal behavioralists have confirmed that like feline animals are the only animals that will sometimes just kill for fun or for sport or to see if they can. So you tell me. Yep, that was too big of a bite, but I managed. So, did I marinate this egg? No, this is a soft-boiled egg, and you can tell that I did a bad job because um, the egg, the yolk on this outside is just slightly set. The inside's still a little bit gooey. The first time that I did this, I made a very, very good soft-boiled egg, but the whites were also not quite set, so still runny. This is not my proudest soft-boiled egg or egg. It's not the worst. I've been to some ramen places that have um, a soy or green tea marinade for the egg that I actually really like because it affects the color. But I don't know if I really like how what it does with the taste. This particular ramen is quite spicy, so I think the soy egg might get lost in that. But if you had like a lighter broth, that might be more forward and more apparent. Hmm. It's just going to be absolutely funny to me that me trying to play games very rarely gets an audience this much. But me just sitting here, eating food, doing nothing, it's going to have more of an audience. It's ironic. Have you ever seen those YouTube compilations of people playing Mario Party and they just have Luigi sitting there and he does nothing against three easy CPUs and the easy CPUs like kill themselves. I think the series is called Luigi Wins by Doing Absolutely Nothing. And it just points out how the easy CPU on Mario Party is designed to make the player win. I guess that's how I feel right now. I'm doing well, I think, for my streams. I'm just hanging out. So Destiny, did you what did you end up streaming? Now I want to go make ramen myself. You should. It's super easy. Um, I've been streaming for exactly 51 minutes when I say this. Um, and I'd say only the first 30 minutes of that were cooking. And really, it didn't need to take 30 minutes. It's only took 30 minutes because I'm extra as all hell. Um, in case you weren't here since the beginning. And I don't know because it was actually quite difficult for me to troubleshoot who all was here at the beginning. The recommendations that I have for upgrading basic instant ramen or any kind of ramen is to use broth over water for instant ramen, specifically egg and fresh vegetable. In this case, it was green onion, cabbage, and carrot. And the beef broth was homemade, which is where the meat comes from, oxtail meat. You have all three of those? Yeah, perfect. There you go. What is that? What is that emoji? Oh, it's a person. Okay, I thought it was somebody with giant glowing glasses. God, I'm old. Hmm. I guess I'm just gonna eat my whole dinner in front of this camera, which is fine. Did not expect that, but yeah. Happy Tuesday to you all, or Wednesday for some people. Feels like a Sims action. I actually don't know how people who would do a mukbang stream or video. Actually, no, that's it. The video. I don't know how somebody could do a mukbang video before mukbang streams became a thing. Because I have to. I imagine that if I sat in front of this camera and ate a shitload of food, I don't think that I would watch more than like 15 minutes of that before I'd be like, oh my god, this is terrible. Who would want to watch this? Like I'm worried about that concept right now. But you know, people with weird fetishes, is that it? Is there a thing about watching people eat? Are you gonna take this away from me? I don't know if I want to enable that. Yeah, for sure. Oh, but that's what you assume, so it must be 100% right. That is a good way to live, Diablo. I dig it. The apron that I cinched super tight to myself is now come apart. Not come apart, but the cinch is come undone. Heard that started a way for people to eat with others at home, but then it got real weird. Yeah, I could imagine. I think there's like crossovers. I'm not big into Twitch or big on Twitch. So all of this comes from an opinion of somebody who doesn't know shit about fuck. But I have noticed there's this weird overlap of people doing one thing or another, and then just kind of all of those things eventually amalgamate. It's like ASMR overlaps with, mukbang and those hot tub streams, which I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I totally understand. I don't understand how it's content, but I bet you I can go and find a video of somebody doing ASMR eating in a hot tub. I bet that's something. I wasn't gonna eat this on camera, but shit. It's always good to hang out. Nice little bits of rice cake. And then I get to do the super fun part. Clean up my kitchen, which I will not stream. Mostly because while I think that I'm okay at cooking, I do not think that I'm okay at cleaning. My old roommate used to shame me for the way that I cleaned. Like most things with humans, it's all just fetish stuff. Yeah, that reminds me of that Dennis quote from Always Always Sunny. It's just oh, I'm gonna have to make a meme of that after this. Just holding a bunch of stuff and just claiming that it's fetish shit. After the camera is, I'm extremely inclined to lean on the comedian. Who's that weird looking roommate behind you? No, I live alone by now. With the guinea pigs, obviously, with my sweet babies. But it's just me. That's why I was super pumped to move out, so I'd be able to have super great content, like standing in my kitchen talking to nobody. Well, talking to you all. Excellent. Well, thank you for dropping by. Woo! Thank you for following. Tater Tits VT. I had to read this a couple times because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna say your name was Tater Tits and it not be that. But yes, I'm actually gonna try and also stream tomorrow and make a risotto, which is what I planned tonight. But life gets in the way. Enjoy your dinner. I have to imagine that like mukbang streamers get closer to the end. Like I'm not overwhelmingly full. I'm pretty full. I don't need to finish this, but I made it. And I can't not finish my own food on stream. So now it's like a double-edged sword. Now I have to wonder, like when you're mukbanging, that sounds bad. When you're doing a mukbang stream, if like at a certain point you're like, oh God, I don't want to do this anymore. I wonder if that's the appeal. Just like how much food can this person eat? Let me see the epitome of human sadness. Someone forcing themselves to eat on camera for their vacation, desperately trying to smile through it. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Oh God. All right. That's the stream. Me standing here eating for an hour. Well, not an hour. Eating for half an hour. Yeah. So I'm gonna start to clean up. And is there somebody else streaming? Somebody relevant? Somebody that I follow that's relevant, please. Nope, these are all offline. Okay. Well, well, fuck. I don't even remember how to do raid. Is it slash raid? Is that what I do? God, look at me being old as shit. Okay. Hey, TJ. What's up? I made ramen and then I ate it. So is it slash raid or is it just raid? All right. Dope. Okay. Pardon me. I am going to slash raid. Motherfucker. Did it do it? I don't know if it did it. I don't think I did. Oh, dope. Excellent. All right, we'll just automatically end it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna look back and forth between the screen and this. You can end after hitting the raid button. Well, how do I hit the raid button? I'm on my phone. Oh no. Okay, the timer's counting down. Dope. Excellent. Skin Teen is an old friend of mine who uh how do I know when you guys have left? I'm so confused. I'm so dumb. Nope, there it is.